Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Buckle, and welcome back to another episode of Chris Buckle's Album Club. Now, as usual, of course, today we will have two albums that will be pitted against each other. We will give our initial thoughts at the beginning after the albums are unveiled, and then, of course, we will go listen to the albums, come back with our thoughts on them, and then say which album we liked better, and then we will reveal who picked which album. Alright, today with me I have Ben
Gizmo.
and Matthew.
Only a fool believes.
Alright, so y'all ready to hear what today's albums are?
Sure.
Alright, well, today's albums are Purple Rain by Prince and Like Clockwork by Queens of the Stone Age.
Damn.
Alright, first impressions, Ben, we're gonna start with you.
Okay, I have obviously heard Purple Rain before. I'm trying to remember if I've heard Like Clockwork before. There was at least one Queens of the Stone Age album that I've listened to before. But I feel like it's not that one. What was the one I've listened to? It's probably Songs for the Deaf. Was it?
Awkward silence.
It's also possible that I have listened to this one before. There's one of these ones with the red covers. It's one of the two with red covers that I listened to, but I don't remember which one now. It's possible I've listened to this album. Oh, it's possible that was the album that I just said. Yeah, I think I like both of these albums. It seems pretty well. I already like Purple. Like Clockwork, will probably also like. So, yeah, that's my impression. I do like Queens of the Stone Age.
Alright, Matthew.
Um, Prince is one of my favorite music people of all time. He's a legend. Um, Purple Rain is, of course, a like one of his defining works. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's his best. I think his best work is uh, Signs Ode the Times. Um, but I'm looking forward to listening to that. As for Queens of the Stone Age, I am a fan of their work. I think they do pretty good work. Shout out to Zach, who's the biggest Queens of the Stone Age person I know. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Alright, well, as for me, I've listened to Purple Rain by Prince before. I don't think I've ever listened to anything by Queens of the Stone Age, though. I'm going into Queens of the Stone Age fairly blind, though I do kind of, I think, roughly know what this is going to sound like. As for Purple Rain, yeah, great album. Probably the second best album of the 80s, so I guess I'm going to kind of spoil my opinion later on in this video here a little bit, but still, I said what I said. Definitely the best album of the year it came out, 1984.
Let's get crazy and listen to these albums.
Alright, we're going to go listen to the albums now, and we'll be right back with our thoughts after listening to them. Alright, we have listened to the albums, and we are right back to give our thoughts on them. The first album was, of course, Purple Rain by Prince. And today we're going to start with you, Matthew. What were your thoughts on this album?
I thought this album was really good. This is like this is Prince's most iconic album. It's the one. It's probably his most popular one. Um, there's like stand up tracks are like "Let's Go Crazy" and everything from "Darling Nikki" to the end of the album. I personally think the second half of the second part, the side B of the album is like leagues better than side one. Side one is, of course, good, and every single song in this album is really good. But I think there's like kind of like this weird like slowdown between "Let's Go Crazy" and the following three tracks. But after "Darling Nikki" and then we go through "When Doves Cry," "I Would Die for You," which is my personal favorite Prince song. "Baby I'm a Star" and "Purple Rain." It's just great stuff, and it's rightfully given as much praise as it is.
All right, Ben.
Yeah, I think I have thoughts similar to Matthew. I would say that the standout tracks, so once again, I would say that When the Doves Cry is, I would say, probably my favorite song on here. Obviously, Purple Rain is an iconic song. But also I like Let's Go Crazy, but that's also kind of a generic opinion. Take Me With You, I Would Die For You. I would say of all the standout tracks. I mean, Darling Nikki also stands out, but I think it's a good song, but it also stands out for some of its lyrics. But When Doves Cry, I, is that what did I just say about that actually? What did I call it?
That was your favorite song of the album.
Yes, I did say that. Did I call it by its right name?
You said When the Doves Cries. When Doves
Oh, I
Cry.
said When Doves Cry. Yeah, that's true. Um, this is what it sounds like when doves cry. That's just yeah, that's an excellent song and a very like self-reflective, I guess, song about how these issues from his parents are being reproduced in his own relationship, or his feel of that at least. Um, so yeah, I think that this is an excellent album. Um, it's all good songs, though I only listed off the ones I thought were better than the two or three that I did not include.
All right. Well, as for my thoughts, yeah, I like this album. I think I made that clear at the beginning. It's got a lot. It's almost like greatest hits album in a lot of ways. You've got Let's Go Crazy. You've got Darling Nikki. You've got When Doves Cry. You got I Would Die For You. You've got Baby I'm a Star. You've got Purple Rain. You also have some other ones I like. I like Take Me With You. I like the beautiful ones. It's kind of a interesting one, I always think. I'd say the weakest track here is probably Computer Blue, but even it's pretty good. So I actually have seen the movie, I will say, and the movie is also pretty good.
I've also seen the movie.
Yeah.
I have not seen the movie.
Well, it's pretty good. That's what I thought. It's not like the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it's pretty good. It's got good cinematography. That's what I think. So yeah, I mean, I like this album. It's very good. Probably my second favorite album of the '80s after Time. Alright, the next album was, of course, Like Clockwork by Queens of the Stone Age. And we are going to be starting with you, Matthew. What were your thoughts on this album?
I really enjoyed this album. Um, Queens of Stone Age is like a band that may not be like probably in my top 10 or 20 favorite bands of all time, but whenever I listen to them, it's like they produce really good stuff. And I think they're trying their style of hard rock. Some even say stoner uh, rock is like something that appeals to me as a kind of more of the heavier side of rock music.
I thought you were
Um,
going to say it
I
applied to
don't.
you as a stoner.
No, no, that's not. That doesn't apply. But I think like most, if not all, the tracks are like really good. I think they give a good amount of emotion, and like I think it also gives a great theme to like what the lead singer of Queens of the Stone Age, Josh Hume, was going through. Um, like basically he went through like if you didn't know the backstory behind this album, he went in a coma and he like literally almost died. I think either making this album or like before making this album, and like basic was due because he had some knee issues and that like gave him a um you know like had a lot of personal stuff, and he had like a near death experience, and that like produced like this album in a way. But yeah, I really enjoyed this album.
Oh, White Ben.
Um, yeah, I also really enjoyed this album. It does definitely have some very introspect. I feel like I would have used that word for Prince. This is when described, but I see this album as a whole is more introspective than Prince. Well, ships crashing in the night. I mean, it still says passing in the night, but in this is a night sat by the ocean that it develops into real ships crashing in the night. That feels the relationship or one night stand or whatever's going on in it is ends on this. At least how I interpreted it as I mean crashing both physically in you know what I mean, but also it felt like with a dark note. There obviously there's the what Matthew was talking about with the experience of death and the vampire of time and memories. I would say one other random thing that stood out was the song "If I Had to Tell." Not so much for its actual content, which seems to be about, oh, I would be a creature of the night. I'm basically a creature of the night. All that's lacking is a tell. But the way it was delivered sounded kind of Bowie-esque to me, but the actual lyrics themselves have references to soul songs like Lady Marmalade and to do Ron, which that's not really a soul song, but a pop song, I guess. That I found interesting. I don't really have a good point to why it's there. I just found it very interesting with this song with this kind of David Bowie vibe, or like the songs we hold on the Idiot too, I would say, is also in this song, but also the way it's drawing on these older works. I mean, I think we do see that in David Bowie's Young Americans to an extent. So maybe they're drawing through that, but it doesn't sound like the Young American style at all. It's kind of that stood out to me as kind of fascinating. But I wish I had something more substantive to say about that, but I don't.
Oh, right, well, I'm not sure I have as deep of thoughts as that, really. I did like that song that Ben was talking about, the If I Had to Tell One. I think that, to me, seemed to be the standout track. Um, but I also like some other songs, especially Filled with Friends. I didn't really understand why Elton John was there, but that was weird. I thought the whole thing though sounded pretty good instrumentally. Um, Probably need to listen to it some more times before the lyrics really sink in. But I did think it was pretty good. It was kind of weird, but I think it was pretty good. It did kind of remind me of like the Man Who Sold the World era Bowie, at least in terms of like how it sounds. Um, just with the instrumentation, and to a lesser extent the vocals. I don't really know what was going on there, but it was. Yeah, it feels like a kind of a dense, meaty album. I'm not sure I really assimilated it at all, even though I did listen to it actually twice here, for this album, but, for this video, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I liked it. I do plan on probably coming back to it, listening to it again, and trying to kind of delve more into even just this album, not necessarily this band, but even specifically this album. And yeah, that's basically my thoughts. Is I did like it. I do plan on coming back, and that's about it.
Yeah, I also feel like I probably do need to go back to it at some point. That's kind of one of the inherent limitations of this format with something especially something I didn't research the context of very well, like Matthew did, but it might allow me to reinterpret the album better.
Alright, now we're going to say which album we liked better. And we're going to start with you, Matthew. Which album of these two did you like better?
Purple Rain. I think In Clockwork is my favorite Queens of the Stone Age album, and a lot of emotional and thematic stuff is like amazing in this album, especially in like experience of the front man, Josh Hoom. Um, but it's Purple Rain is Purple Rain. So
Ben, what were your thoughts?
Only wanna see you, only wanna see you, Purple Rain.
Okay, the album I liked better, personally, was Purple Rain. Although I did like both these albums. So yeah, I guess Purple Rain wins unanimously. Unless, of course, Ben actually voted for, like,
you
Clockwork.
guess or you he did voted for Purple Rain.
Yeah, see, I wasn't sure because I had to take my headphones off. I was trying to catch this bug on the keyboard so I could release it outside. I thought he was going to do Purple Rain, and I just wasn't sure. Alright, so Purple Rain has won unanimously. So, that happens every so often, actually. Great album. I'm not too surprised, but definitely deserves it. Alright, now we're going to reveal who picked which album. Anyone want to take a guess as to who picked what? No? Alright, well, here we go. These albums were both picked by Matthew.
Surprise, surprise.
Alright, does anyone have anything they want to say before we go?
Shout out to Zach, the biggest Queens of the Stone Age fan I know.
Alright. Well, once again, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you've had a good time. We, of course, do this very frequently, the Album Club. We'll have more episodes coming up just almost instantaneously after this one. And so be sure to like and subscribe. Helps me out a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.